think this is ready to go up.
Ain't no lightweight.
Back out here working on the loading alley yet again, could you tell? And for a while I've been thinking that I just need to get these pipes welded up and those ones over there, which would complete this pen, and then I would be able to breathe a little bit easier because I could still use this to feed steers. But I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, Tyler, if you park a round bale right here for these guys to eat, you can't very well weld the pipes onto this post because, you know, it'll be right there in the way. So I thought before I bring the steers home, which is actually what I was going to do today, I need to get these pipes welded in. I'll go ahead and get the gate welded in that I just finished this morning. And at that point, I will then feel more comfortable bringing those guys back here. A lot of work to be done, so we better get to it. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. First try. First thing we want to do is clean this post up where we're going to weld best we can. It's going to be kind of tough with the tin being right there, but yeah, we'll do something. Well, there's that. If you haven't seen me load cattle here, basically the way that this gate needs to function, which it looks like it will, is it's got to open up flat against the wall so that they've got plenty of room to walk in here. And then when I'm back here pushing, once they get past this point, I can just close this gate. Now it closes up against this post. If a cow were to back up, they would just hit the gate and obviously not be able to go any further. So that all works good. The main thing that I was worried about was that, like when I open the gate, if it were to hit this tin somewhere, that would cause it to like hang open a little bit. I didn't want it to do that, but it looks like we're fine. I kind of angled the hinge a little bit just to combat that in case it was a problem, but yeah, it turned out good. And something that I should probably add to this project is replacing this tin here and getting rid of this wooden door. I'm actually surprised. I don't think anyone has ever asked me why this is here. Maybe you guys just haven't noticed. But what this was for was back many, many years ago, I had a small herd of goats, and they're, I guess this was like a goat barn. I had a space inside here for them to be, and I would just open the little door here so they could come in and out, and they would kind of eat all the weeds that were here in the corral. I often get comments that I should get goats, and if you guys don't know, because this was before YouTube, I did have goats. I think at one time I had as many as 20 does and a buck, and then, you know, all of their kids. And that experience taught me that I never want to have goats again. The benefits of having goats don't really outweigh all the trouble that they cause, at least in my case. So no more goats out here. But anyway, I think it's time to fix this little door here, because you can see like the metal's starting to pull back a little bit. It's a potential for an injury for a cow or myself, quite honestly. And we just don't need this anymore. So it's not gonna happen today, but it's on the list. Next on the list is getting the pipe welded up in this little span here. So let's go ahead and get started. I brought plasma cutter, stands, everything here just to do all the work here. It kind of seems silly to drag all that pipe back home just to notch it and cut it and then bring it back. So yeah, everything's here. We're gonna do it here. So my idea to try to be as efficient as possible is take the pipes off of the pile here. I'll have my chop saw set up. I'll cut them, you know, like 2 inches long or something like that, just so I have enough room to make a notch, and then carry them over here to the pipe stands where I'm gonna have the plasma cutter and everything set up. We can notch them and then weld them in, and just kind of systematically go through it like that. The only downside to doing it this way is that I have to run my chop saw off of the solar generator, and it's only got like 12% battery, and you can tell this isn't really a great day to charge via solar, but we're doing our best. I just had to turn that generator off for a minute. You know, even though I have earplugs in, it just, the drone, you know, it's just, it gets irritating. But anyway, these pipes are looking good. And I finally got smart. I don't think I've filmed myself doing this yet, but I cut this 2x4 off at 9.5 inches. That's the gap that I want in between my pipes. They're more or less 12 inches on center, but sometimes that's difficult to measure because you know, you're getting down there. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where center is, but the 2x4 doesn't lie. You know that as long as it fits in there snugly, which now it doesn't fit. It fit when I welded these. Anyway, that's a good way to get consistent spacing and not have to sit there and mess around with the tape measure. And I know it doesn't matter, like Grandpa always used to say, the cows won't mind if things are a little bit off, but I mind. I like to look down these pipes and have everything nice and straight. The sun's peeking out a little bit. I think we were at like 12% battery. What are we at now? Oh, we're at 14, and I've actually used the saw a few times, so good. I think it'll keep up. Yeah, that's probably around here somewhere. When I find myself doing a job like this that, I mean, let's be honest, it's very repetitive. We're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. In order to keep my mind occupied or to kind of make things go faster, is I will just try to find little ways to make my process more efficient. And usually the easiest way to do that is to just start lumping all your tasks together. So like rather than cutting a pipe on the saw, carrying it over to the stands, cutting the notch, and then welding it in and doing that all over again, I often find that it's much faster to cut all my pipes, bring them over to the stands and notch all of them, and then go weld them all up at the same time. And for whatever reason, I think it just saves you a lot of steps, which adds up over hours. I know I've given this example before, but years ago when I worked in a fab shop, I had to make a bunch of catwalks. They were like 20 feet long, and I had to make 8 or 10 of them. And you know, it's like most things like that. The first one was fun to make, but the second one was kind of boring. And then from then on, it just got, you know, you're just doing the same thing over and over. And that's when I kind of came up with this little trick to keep my brain occupied. And what I found is that the first catwalk that I made in that series, I think it took me like 8 or 9 hours to make the whole thing. By the time I got to the last one, which I think I had to make 8 of them. So by the time I got to the 8th one, I had that down to 6 hours. So in light of my little speech, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my last pipe before I get started with notches. Oh man, these pipes are heavy. That's why I get steel toes right there. Otherwise that might hurt. The nice thing with these pipes is that one end is going on a round post and the other end goes on a square post. So you don't have to worry about clocking notches. I mean, this notch could be anywhere and the other side is just a straight cut. So it just takes one more thing out of the equation that you got to worry about. In fact, in the interest of increasing efficiency, I'll just go ahead and mark the notches on these pipes as well. So once I get everything fired up and running, it's just a matter of throwing them up on the stand and cutting them. All right, I think we're ready to start cutting. Well, so much for efficiency. The air compressor ran out of gas, so I could, I guess, run back home and fill it up, or see if I can find a bottle or something that I could rob some gas out of the generator to put into it. Well, the generator here has a lot of gas in it, and I don't think I need to run the air compressor that much longer, so I'm thinking maybe if I just take some out and put it in the bowl here, that'll be enough to just finish what we're doing. I really don't want to run all the way home, because then I gotta clean up a bunch of stuff, and you know, it takes time. Oh, shoot, I want this. There, it's coming. Okay, let's try that. Let's hope that's enough. I guess if it's not, we can just do this again. Everything is turning out really good. I'm happy with this. I guess the one thing that I have noticed that I'm a little unsure about is it looks like the alley is a little bit wide to me. And I was just kind of placing the posts based off of what was here before, so it shouldn't be that different. And it's probably perfectly fine for full-grown cows. You know, calves would be able to turn around in here, but let's face it, calves pretty much can turn around anywhere they want. And that's the reason that I like to have a little ramp at the end of the loading alley that goes up to about the height of the trailer floor. Because if calves do get turned around backwards, which is very common, you can still get them to go into the trailer backwards if they have a ramp to walk up. Well, up till now, I would say this project has been pretty straightforward. Nothing that I haven't done before. But the next part is going to be a little bit harder, and that is getting the curve set up here. So the first thing that I'll have to do in order to have a chance at being successful is to get 2 sticks of tube rolled out in whatever I determine will be the proper curve. I'll have to have a tube for this inside fence and then the outside as well. Once I get those radiuses and lengths figured out, then I will know where the next 2 posts are gonna be. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be like right here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. So I need that square tube to tell me where those posts are gonna be located. That is gonna be a big job. I'm not gonna start it today. That's the kind of thing you gotta do first thing in the morning when you're fresh, because rolling that tube is a very physically demanding process. So I guess that's about as far as we're gonna get in this one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.